Welcome to the Play Big podcast with Coach Curtis Dean. Coach Curtis is a certified life and health coach. Coach Curtis's passion is to help everyone reach their highest potential. If you're stuck in a rut in your career, relationship, or personal growth, Coach Curtis will challenge you to play big through transformational habit change coaching. Coach Curtis will help you clarify your goals, identify your obstacles, and design strategies to overcome them. So get ready, get pumped up, and let's play big. Hey, good evening, everyone. It's Coach Curtis here. Or you might call me Santa. I don't know. That's entirely up to you. We have another exciting broadcast for you today. Just want to tell everybody how much we're appreciating all the love, all the comments, all the shares, all the likes. Last broadcast that we had was amazing. We had over 5,000 people that looked at our broadcast, and it was I'm just blown away. Every week is better than the last. Things are growing, and hopefully we're getting to the part where we can touch people's lives and help people, the right people that need what we're putting out there in the world. Our broadcasts are going to be different every week, every 2 weeks when we do them. It's exciting. In January, we've got some great guests coming up. We have the amazing Coach Nikki Mills, who's going to be with us, and she is going to be talking about, she is very much into this, I guess you'd say more of the spiritual element. She's just does some amazing things. And the last broadcast in January, we're going to have some of her, what we call the Woo Crew on, and they're going to be talking about everything that's related to that. Just some amazing stuff going on. February, y'all know what February is all about. February is all about love. That's right. February is going to be all about love. We're going to be talking about relationships. We're going to be talking about first times, the first time you saw that special person, what happened on the inside, what sparked you, what's excited you, what made you say, that's the one. I'm going to tell my story about how I met Joan. She's going to hate it because she always does, but that's okay. We're going to have some great guests. We're going to have one of my friends, Kim, who's going to come on. Him and the princess, they have an amazing relationship. We like to say that, they're on par with us. We're on par with them, kind of the way we live and love and like to have our relationship be. So the very first broadcast in February, which I think is on the 10th, it's going to be a Valentine's love theme kind of thing going on. We're super excited about that. And later in February, we are going to be talking with Coach Sarah. She's out in Louisiana. She is amazing. She's a relationship coach. She and I have tried to partner on a few things before and work together. And she's going to have some great things to bring to you as far as some more relationship things and health coaching, life coaching. So every month is just going to be better than the last. We're growing in leaps and bounds. We are working on getting on all the hot podcast channels, Apple, Spotify, Google's podcasts, all those kind of things, because, we want this message to get out. We want the world to hear what we're doing in this day and time. COVID notwithstanding, COVID's a huge thing. COVID notwithstanding, we just need more love. We need more positive. We need more happy. We need for people to be able to understand their worth, to be able to understand that they are just capable of so much more than what they've ever thought they were. And in that, we want them to be able to grow. We want them to be able to help their families. But I talk a lot on my Facebook page, if you guys read my post on Facebook, about breaking generational curses. Just because your family was a certain way, just because your parents were a certain way, and it might not have been a bad thing. They were operating in what they knew, right? Your parents in that day and time were doing the best they could. My parents raised me in the late 60s and the 70s. Was their parenting style a little different than mine? I'd say so, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. They were parenting from what they knew. So we want to break some generational curses. We want to break some generational thoughts, some of those things that just need to be rethought, re-enhanced. We need to get out there with a new vision for the world because we've got babies coming up. I got a grandbaby coming in February. I don't want that grandbaby growing up in this kind of a world where you don't have just unconditional love. Latoya says, that's right, we need more love. Latoya, you could not be more right. It's an age-old song. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. Love will definitely carry us forward, that's for sure. We need love. We need peace. We need to be able to lay down on our pillow at night and close our eyes and just go to sleep in that sweet, sweet calm because we know we're doing the right thing. We're living the right life. The world might be circling around us, but our home is our fortress. Our family, our loved ones, we know we got it going on. We're living the way we need to be living, okay? So that brings us to what are we going to be talking about in March? Some of y'all ain't going to like March. I'll tell you why. Because I know some of y'all now, y'all got your little pens and papers out. Hey, Alyssa. And speaking of Alyssa and Mike, if you can't see maybe, but Alyssa and Mike made me this great shirt. And it says, I'm not a therapist. I've told y'all that. I'm not a therapist. It said, I have been practicing this my whole life to be a life coach. And that's what I am. And Mike and Alyssa, some wonderful friends of mine, they made me a couple T-shirts. I thought that was just the sweetest thing ever. So I appreciate y'all so much. Thank you. Thank you. Love the shirt, Toya. I love it. Thank you so much. So a lot of y'all now, y'all got y'all's pencil and paper out, and you're talking to your spouse, you're talking to your children, and you say, oh, what resolutions are we going to make? We're going to make some resolutions. 2021 going to be the year. It's going to be the year, 2021. Guess what we're going to talk about in March? We're going to talk about what happened to those resolutions. We're going to talk about what happened to that gym membership you bought. We're going to talk about what happened to that treadmill you ain't walking on. And we're going to talk about where you're at. And I know you're thinking, Coach, why are you being negative? Let's don't be negative. That's not cool. Let's don't be negative. I'm not being negative, guys. I'm being realistic, right? Because so many times we she says, oh, man, that gym membership. You ain't wrong. We've all done it, probably most all of us. We've all got that. You can go to Planet Fitness for only $10, and you can go all the time, and you can bring a friend, and blah, 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 and you don't. Anyway, resolutions are great if you know what you're doing and you know why you're doing it. You can't have a resolution and say, I want to lose weight. Okay, I'm going to lose weight in 2020. I'm going to lose weight. Okay. Why? I'm going to lose weight, because I want to look good for my man or my woman. Why? Well, because I want to look good for my man or woman because I want a better relationship. Why? Because I want to make sure that I can keep the spark and stay married and stay loved and keep doing everything. So what does that mean? It means you really don't want to lose weight. It's not about the losing weight. We brought this all the way down to your relationship, did we not? And somebody just said, I don't make resolutions. Yes, I'm right there with you. I don't like to make resolutions. I like to make habit changes. You say, well, that's just semantics. It's not. I'm going to show you why. You got to find the why behind the why. Okay? You may think that it's just because you want to lose weight. We got to trash the diet culture, guys. Diet culture is just that. It should be called diet cult, not even diet culture, diet cult. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry every year. You walk into any Publix right now, Winn-Dixie, Kroger, Walmart, whatever. Front and center now is all these diet bars, all these protein powders, all these elixirs, all these things that's going to change your life. Guess what? They won't. They just won't. And again, I'm not being negative. I'm being honest. The only thing that's going to change your life is what's up here and what's in here. What's in your head and what's in your heart. Why, oh, why, oh, why are you doing this? Why have you decided this is what you want to do? Why do you need to get skinny? Don't make resolutions, but we do make goals. And listen, you know how I feel about goals. I'm a goal kind of guy. And that's the whole thing. You're making a goal, not a resolution, because it doesn't work. I like habit changes better. There you go, Latoya. That's what it's all about. You got to find your why, and then you got to find your why behind the why. And if I ask you why 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, what do you want to bet? What do you want to bet? By the time you started to what gets to the end, it's going to be totally different than what you think it's going to be. Joan is correct. You've got to make lifestyle changes. So let me ask you about habit change. Alcoholics Anonymous is a great example. The first thing they teach you, or one of the things they teach you, I've never been, so I can't speak to it that intelligently, but if you're an alcoholic, you don't go to bars anymore. Am I right? Okay. You can't go and be in the places you used to be with the people you used to be with, because that's what brings in. You're not changing your habit, right? You might go for a week, a month, 6 months and have a water, have a Coke, all that, but that environment's going to eat at you. You got to change your environment, okay? You got to go to meetings, and I'm talking strictly about AA. You got to go to meetings. Why? Because you're surrounded by like-minded people. That's right. It takes at least 21 days to change or make a habit. Doing it over and over and over. We're repetitive. Our brains are wired that way. Our hearts are wired that way. So if you're telling yourself you're going to quit drinking, but you keep going to the bar, how's that going to work for you? If you're telling yourself you're not going to be with them same types of men or women, the ones who's done you wrong every single time, let you crying, let you, beaten and battered mentally, physically, and every way other kind of way, but you're going to the same places and meeting those same people, how do you think that's going to end for you? You've got to change your habits. You've got to start going to other places. If all the guys you met in the bar ain't been what you need, maybe you need to meet a guy, I don't know, at a library. Maybe you need to meet a guy at a bookstore. Maybe you need to meet a guy somewhere else, or a gal that is of like mind with you. Because here's the thing. Don't get you one you think you're going to change, because that ain't what it's about. Oh, my first wife, that's what I did. I said, love can conquer anything. Her parents told me, don't marry that girl. It ain't going to work. I said, nah, love can change anything. I can change her. I can make it better. I can make it all better. It'll all be good. Whew, that didn't work out so well. And it's not the same thing bad about her. She has a great life now. She has a wonderful husband of many, many years. They're having a great life. But at that point in our lives, it wasn't for me to change her. And you cannot change people who do not want to be changed. Concentrate on you. Change those habits. We want to change what we're doing in 2021. We want to change the places we're going. We want to change the things we're looking at. We want to change the things we're talking about. If you're coming home every night and you say, okay, I'm not going to, I'm not going to eat junk food anymore, but I got to have it in the house for the kids, or, I got to do this, or I got to do that. If it's there, it's going to happen. You got to change your habits. You got to change what you're buying. And you've also got to change the self-talk that you have to you and the talk that you have in front of your children. Because if you're telling your kids like, Mom, why are you eating all that celery now? And why are you eating cucumbers and all that? Well, because, I'm fat. I got to get skinny. What's your little girl or little boy going to think? Man, I'm fat too. I should probably eat some celery. We got to change that self-talk. It's not because we're fat. It's not because we need to join Weight Watchers. It's not because we need to join any of those things. Oh, Joan says, Coach, can you change the way you love? You absolutely can. And I learned this, and I learned a lot of it from Joan. But the one person that I learned from a lot was the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. When I learned that love is a verb. I thought you just told somebody you loved them and they said, I love you too. And life went on and everything was happy. I didn't realize that love was a verb. It's a daily, constant process. You have to show people that you love them. And showing them you love them isn't going out and buying them a fancy car. Sometimes it's getting up and making them a cup of coffee. Sometimes it's when they come in and say, man, my feet hurt. Well, give me your feet. Let me rub them. Sometimes it's making sure their car has gas in it. It's making sure that, you take their car and get it vacuumed for them. It's making sure that you're taking care of the things that they don't have time for. That's what true love is. And you can change the way you love. Some people think just because I'm in a relationship and I say I love you and I don't cheat on you and I don't beat you and I keep food in the fridge, that I love you. That's all you need. There's a whole lot more to love than that. And in February, maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. Well, I know we will. We'll talk about that a little bit more. And we'll talk about the 5 love languages and how everybody needs different things. Alyssa says, love is work, but so well worth it with the right person. That is so spot on. That is so huge. You don't even know. It is with the right, because with the right person, Love it's still not easy, but it feels right. Right? Love, you got to work for love, guys. You got to work at it every day. You have a good relationship and a good marriage, you're going to work for it. Just waking up in the morning and showing up, that ain't going to cut it. You've got to work for it. You've got to be able to put in the work. You've got to be able to make that person know that they're the, and I post about my wife all the time on Facebook. And people are like, oh my God, I love the way you love your wife. And my thing is, I don't know how to be anything else. I don't know. I fell head over heels madly in love with her the moment I met her. She's been my person since the day I laid eyes on her. And I meant when I meant in my heart that whatever I needed to do to win her love, to win her over was what I was going to do. And I tell everybody, she saved me when I didn't know I needed to be saved. I wasn't always the guy you see here. I had some habits. I had some bad things. I had some things I needed to get rid of because I was loving an old way, right? I was loving in some old boundaries and relationship things that I thought were right that I didn't know weren't. I tried to buy my wife's love. She said, oh, I really like that dress. I come home with it. Oh, if we're sitting on the couch at, 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 10 o'clock at night, I'd like to have some ice cream. I would jump up and go get it. I thought that's what I had to do to make sure she loved me and kept loving me. I didn't realize that she just loved me and being there for her every single day. People want you to show up for them. You have got to show up for that person. That's how they know they love you. That's how they know they love you, because you show up for them. Like I said, whether that means filling their car up with gas or whether it means cooking a meal when they're exhausted. Okay? So it's about 7:17. We're moving on a little bit. We're going to have to change gears a little bit here. One thing I wanted to say, guys, we're not going to do resolutions next year, but we do want to do some habit change, right? We do want to do some habit change. And so for 2021, I want to offer you a special. 3 life coaching sessions for $399. 3 life coaching sessions for $399 paid in full. You pay in full at the $399 and you get 3 coaching sessions. And they can be about whatever you want. It doesn't have to be about health. It doesn't have to be about weight loss. It doesn't have to be, it can be whatever you feel like is going to make you play big, whatever is going to take you to that next level. $399 for 3 sessions. And if you book the full 12 sessions after that, then we'll deduct that from the cost of what you spent. And a lot of people have asked me this, well, why does it take 12 sessions? Why? Why is 12 the magic number? It's not that 12 is the magic number. It's, again, you've got to put in work. I can't change. I can help your life in one session. I can show you a lot in one session. But for you to really get deep-rooted habit change, it's going to take some work. It's going to take a few sessions. If you go to $399 for 3 sessions and you feel like that's all good and you've really got it, great. I hope that works for you. But if not, you can go on and take the full 12 sessions that will get you from where you're at to where you want to be. And if that's something you want to do, you can email me at playbigcoach.com. That's playbigcoach.com. Let me know you heard it on here, you're interested, and we'll get it all set up, okay? I call it setting your course for 2021. $399 for 3 sessions. Hit me up at playbigcoach.com, and we can make that happen for you. So we're going to totally change gears now, because we've talked about love, we've talked about life, we've talked about relationships, we've talked about how gorgeous and beautiful and amazing and what a boss my wife is and how much she completes me. And yeah, we're going to leave all that behind now, because we're going to talk about something don't nobody want to talk about, but we all got to talk about. What are the 2 things they tell us in life are guaranteed? Can anybody tell me? What's the 2 things that's guaranteed? Death and taxes. Well, guess what season it is, boys and girls? It is tax season. And even though it is not at all our favorite season, it needs to be done. It needs to be done right. And the reason I know that is because I have the pleasure of knowing our next 2 guests. Our next 2 guests, thank you. Thank you about my hat. Thank you. Hey, cuz, that's Tina, my cousin. And we're going to have my other cousin on. She is my first cousin, too. Bryan and Cheryle Collins from VNC Taxes. They are in the tax business. And the thing about it is they can help guys like me who have side gigs. That's what this is important for, because we all want to rush to H&R Block, and we're going to learn tonight that there's a whole lot more about this than what you can do at H&R Block. So welcome to the stage, Bryan and Cheryle Collins.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Wonderful. How are you?
Thirsty.
Yeah.
I talk a lot. Lord have mercy. So guys, so I got it right. BNC Tax Services, is that correct?
BNC Income Tax Services.
BNC Income. Oh, there it is, right along, scrolling along the bottom. BNC Income Tax Services. Okay. Take a few minutes. Tell us about yourselves, each of you, and just what got you to here, what got you into taxes, all that kind of stuff. And then we'll go into some Q&A.
Well, what got us into taxes is my husband changes careers every 7 years. He's done everything from truck driving to electronics to computers to income taxes. So we have decided that we wanted to start a business that we could retire at, that would give us the ability to do it from any location in the world. And we have our company, and we can do taxes remotely for anyone.
All right, Bryan.
So the part of that is I saw a big need for people like you that have side gigs to have somebody that understands what they're doing and understands the special nuances of their business and apply it to the tax code. Because as we all know, our tax code is 80,000 pages, and no one who has the time to run a side gig and work full time can learn all of that. You need somebody in your life that can help apply that to your specific need. And ours is focused on entrepreneurs in general, but then we have a niche market of owner-operator truck drivers. Single truck owner-operators have special needs, and they're actually handled differently in DOT law and in the tax code as opposed to anybody else that's self-employed.
Very cool. You know, and it's so true, guys, because here's the thing. As a chef, as a private chef, I am a member of the Personal and Private Chefs Association. All right, Tina's bragging on here. That's my sister. We know. That's my cousin. We do, and that's awesome. I'm just excited to be able. You guys know me. I want to hype up anybody I can who has a side gig. That's my thing. I don't care if you're selling Pampered Chef. I don't care if you're selling, Pure Romance. Whatever it might be, I want to hype you up because, the thing about it is we're all in this together. Somebody said something the other day that really resonated with me. I thought it was so cool. And they said we're all just walking each other home.
Absolutely.
So freaking cool. And Jones got it right. It's a laptop lifestyle. And that's exactly one of the biggest reasons why I got into coaching. I love my chef gig and I love cooking for people. As you guys know, you've had a few of my meals, but I have to be there to do that, right? Versus as coaching, I can sit on the balcony of a resort at a beach and do a coaching session. So that's what it was all about. And so as a member of the Personal Private Chefs Association, I'm in a forum. And as a graduate of HCI, which is the Health Coach Institute, where I got my health coaching and my life coaching certifications from, we have forums, right? And we have Facebook pages. And the one thing that we always talk about is, how did you set your business up? Do you have an LLC? Do you have a sole proprietor? What are you doing about taxes? Have you consulted an attorney? You know what I mean? Alyssa says, you always give great advice, which makes you a great coach. Thank you, Alyssa. I appreciate that so much. You're the best. Thank you, guys. But, and it's true. That's right, Tina. It's true because there's so many of us now. Like I have a corporate background where I learned a lot, but it doesn't always transfer over into the private life. So like when I first, opened my private chef business, I probably spent just a month just learning what I had to do to have a business, right? I never had my own business before. So, I mean, I know how to cook. I know how to chop veggies. I know how to saute. I needed to know what I didn't know. So talk to us a little bit about that and how that works for you guys, because to me, it doesn't seem like cookie cutter's going to get it.
No, cookie cutter doesn't.
whatever. So
It doesn't. And the reason why I focus on truck driving is because it's something that I did. I was an owner operator for 7 years. I ran that business from the ground up. I know people that do it. We spent hours discussing this, and I spent huge amounts of time doing the research to make sure. I worked with CPAs. I know people that don't use computers to do this. And unfortunately, in truck driving specifically, it's a business of pennies.
Mhm.
It's truly a business of pennies. Every penny, every mile matters. Just like any other business today, profit margins are slim.
Sure.
So you have to know what you're doing. And most owner operators, they're not used to that because they don't know what a profit and loss statement is. They don't know what their expenses are. They don't understand how fuel mileage affects them. And in the case of fuel mileage, it'll put $300 in your pocket a week just for 1 mile per gallon.
Absolutely. Yeah.
See, so let me ask you this. So you guys are talking about this. What is your, like me, I am certified through the American Personal and Private Chefs Association as a chef, and I am a certified life and health coach through the Health Coach Institute. Where did you guys get your accreditation from? Where have you studied? I mean, did you go to Uncle Sam's School of Taxes? What did you do?
Well, that's funny because this is going to scare everybody that ever has their taxes done. There is no certification requirement by the IRS. It takes $35 and a registration to become a paid tax preparer. You can charge to do people's returns. You're issued a 6-digit number, and you can prepare anybody's taxes for $150 or whatever you want to charge. The people that work at Walmart that do tax returns, that's what they have. They don't know your business. They don't know business. They've never owned a business for the most part. Currently, I am certified by the IRS as a annual filing season program. That means I've done continuing education. I'm also in the enrolled agent track, which is a top level certification from the IRS. Those are the people, the AFSP certification, you can look that up on the IRS. My name is on their database as a preparer that has passed that certification. And as an AE or an EA, I will be also listed. And that's a top level certification. And with the IRS, it's comparable to a CPA as far as representation.
That's incredible. And see, to me, that means everything because, there are certain things you can do and can't do in the chef business and the life coaching business, and you've got to know what you're doing and what you can't do. Joan wants to know, and how can they do taxes from state to state? You guys said you could do things remotely. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Federal is the same everywhere. Absolutely the same. It's the same return everywhere. With computers and all of that, the states that do have their own income taxes, they marry up with the federal return and it translates, and they're actually filed at the same time for the most part. There are exceptions to that. There are states that highly control who can prepare their taxes in their state. They're the states you would think of: New York, Connecticut, Oregon, California are just a few. There's a total of five or six states that I cannot prepare taxes for, but federal gives federal returns. I can do any.
Okay, so Cheryle, tell me about this. Now, I know you do more of some of the behind the scenes things. I know I've seen you done some videos for the things. Kind of what is your role in all this that you are doing?
I do a lot of the question and answers when people ask about how can you do my taxes without me coming into the office. And I tell them that there are forms you can fill out, you can email, we take phone calls. We try to get a personalized relationship with who we're dealing with because they feel like they have certain questions that they just can't ask H&R Block.
Sure.
So I try to filter those out. I try to keep the Facebook and a lot of the social media updated on what's going on with us and who we are and what we do and how we do it. And there's a lot of people that just don't realize that that is even a possibility. It's all new. We all are in this new era where everything is done touchless, contactless. And Bryan and I just happened to start this prior to COVID. So we already had planned for it to be that way because we didn't know where we would be and how to do that. And we thought, oh, this would be, something that they can get a hold of us for 24-hour access. You email us. We're very happy to email you back. We also have an app for truck drivers that is now on Google and the Play Store that they can download and send us their tax information at the click of a button.
Now, is truckers all you guys do, or can you do taxes for anyone?
I can do. I specialize in entrepreneur side gig, 1099 contract type stuff. I can do any of those. I can do W-2 personal taxes also. Mm-hmm. Those aren't as hard. I want to focus on the entrepreneurs because they're the ones that are getting lost. They CPAs are $400 an hour, and for them to sit down and try to learn your business and talk to you, you're paying $400 an hour. Right. So as a small gig or something like that, $1,200 to $1,500 a year to file your taxes. It's expensive. Mm-hmm. So I'm focusing in that area to try to bring that cost down and teach people how to understand the returns.
Okay. So now I know you guys have a muggle job like I do, right? And you guys work together all day long, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Correct.
You work together all day long, right?
Yep.
And then you have a side business where you're together all day long, right? Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about that because, we're going to talk about taxes and that's all good, but I'm a relationship coach as well. And I love, and I love your guys' marriage. I see you're a lot like Joan and I, you're all yay. And then a few minutes later, you're like, you know what? Let me explain this to you real quick. So, and that's a great relationship to have when you can talk to each other that way. So how does that work out for you guys being 24/7, 365?
The biggest thing that we have learned is we have a relationship, but we're two separate people. We both have a voice, and sometimes I don't want to hear his voice. So I have to just find something to do to get away. We try not to. For years, we would just argue out it, the same thing over and over. Yep. But now we've made this decision that all the stuff from behind, just leave it there. Don't argue about the little stuff. Pick your fights. If you get frustrated, walk out of the room, go for a walk, go down the hall. In our instance, at our muggle job, go on the golf cart, take a tour around the property. Just, but you can't keep it all inside. And if you really have an issue, talk about it. Don't let it bubble up because then you're going to be fighting nonstop.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Honesty. Being able to speak, if you have a problem, being honest about it instead of covering it up and letting it fester. If she does something or if I do something, say it. Don't get butthurt if somebody says that they don't like that. Just, take the honesty for what it is and discuss it. If something needs to be changed, make it change. And when those times when we are irritated with each other, then we go to our separate rooms and we do our own thing.
Yeah. Well, that talks a lot about to what Joan asked earlier when she said, does your love change or does it grow? And that is so true because like you guys said, you used to argue all the time, right? And you realize that I'm not going to do that anymore.
Yeah.
It gets us nowhere. And we used to do I'm not speaking to you for days, and we would walk around giving each other evil eye, and waiting on the other person to come in and ask a silly question. How long are you going to be mad? And it's just childish.
Cheryle, the only thing I have to say about that is I cannot imagine you being quiet for days. I'm just saying, as family.
No, she can.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I used to I could play that game, but it is so silly. And we just realized we were being wasted so much time because it didn't solve the problem at all. The problem was still there.
Then you still got to solve the problem. You still got to
Yeah.
have that discussion. And you know what? And that's the one thing about love being a verb and growth is it's not always going to be good. It's not always going to be something you want to hear. It's sometimes something that you kind of, and it might really piss you off in the moment or hurt your feelings. But when you step back from it and you're like, she's kind of right. I was being an asshole, or I did leave the toilet seat up, or I didn't, take the trash out, or whatever that might be. Then you have to be big enough to go, you know what? You're right. I was wrong. And what do we need to do? And one thing you guys were talking about arguing is that really stuck with me is me and my first wife, we argued constantly. We argued for years. I was married 7 or 8 years, and I argued for 7 or 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got remarried, when things would come up, I would just get in the car and drive off because I'm like, I'm not arguing anymore. I'm not doing that. But getting in the car and driving off isn't right either because that doesn't solve anything. Yeah, you're not yelling and screaming, but you're also not making your life any better. So those things that you're talking about and how that you can definitely you grow and learn, right? And you guys having a business, because we've got a lot of coaches listening to me, and a lot of coaches, people that are in relationships. We have a lot of that going on where maybe I read one just the other day where the coach said, my husband, he kind of told me when I got into this that you're going to spend a lot of money and you're not going to get any clients. And it's kind of coming true because I'm not really getting any clients. Well, you've already got that negative self-talk in your head now. You've already convinced yourself that's not going to happen. I am blessed that my wife's the total opposite. When I came to her and I said, look, I want to be a private chef. I think we can do this. I know people like my food. I want to join this business. I've done the research. And she said, what do we have to do it? And we immediately jumped into it and became profitable. We became, it was a great business and it worked for us. And it helped us to grow and expand. So that being a cheerleader for your partner, even if you don't always understand it or want it and know why, you can be practical, but you also have to be a cheerleader.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that the thing about, like, when you said you went to her and asked her, you have to get the other person's side of it, because if you're both not on board with it, you're going to have resentment. I told you this wasn't going to work. What a horrible idea. And it's like when Bryan came to me in 2 years ago and asked me about the app, and he told me his idea, and I said, go for it. I did like Joan. I thought it was a good idea. And if I hadn't have, I would have said so. But it had to be a team thing because it's expensive. It's, it's money. It could just flop or it could be successful. But you can't go in it thinking, okay, if this flops, I'm going to make you feel bad for the rest of your life because it flopped. You don't want to hear that, especially from somebody that you really want their opinion. You want them to tell you what they want because you don't want that thrown in your face down the road.
Exactly. I mean, it's like going to your parents and saying, hey, mom and dad, I want to be a doctor. And them going, you don't have the grades for that. Really?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Nikki said without being able to support one another, it just won't work in the long run. And that's for sure. That is so huge. I was blessed that my dad was my biggest cheerleader in life. He, nothing that I said I wanted to do did he say I couldn't. Mm-hmm. And so, now it took me 3 tries to get the right one, but I've got a wife now. We've been married going on 25 years who supports everything that I do. Now, the other part of that is she will definitely call me on my shit. She will definitely tell me, look, if you want to, you're wanting to be a life coach and you're wanting to do this, but you haven't done a post in 3 days. What the hell? People are looking for you and they're looking to you and you're not doing anything. So she will definitely call my ass out in a minute, but that's that I don't want to say hard love, that strong love, but it's keeping each other going,
Well, it's like Bryan the other day, he had some studying to do for a test that he has coming up by the end of December, and he wasn't doing his homework. So he got to spend the day by himself to study.
There you go. I mean, and you both got to be adults enough to realize that, that there is times, that those things have to be done. Joan does a lot of crafts and stuff. And Joan, she'll be in her bedroom for or her craft room for 3, 4 hours doing stuff. And I'm alone in the living room, which I don't like at all. But still I know and then she'll come in, oh, and look what I did. And then at that point it feels better because I see what she's created. Right. Mm-hmm. And you feel that payoff then. So enough about love and all that syrupy garbage. Let's go back to taxes. Okay. So Joan has a question. What about what about people who haven't done their taxes for years, or maybe you've missed a couple of years? Talk to us about those kind of things, or you haven't done them correctly in the past?
We have had several people, actually our first customers were clients that hadn't done taxes for years, and they were embarrassed by it. And we just had to tell them, what's in the past is in the past. You have a problem. We need to get you a solution and move forward. Yeah. And they were really kind of surprised about that because they were so terrified that they were going to jail or they were going to have every penny taken out of their bank account. And when we would sit down and listen and explain to them what was going to happen, the process, you're going to get this letter, don't panic. If you have a question, call us. And when we built those relationships, they just were calm and we accomplished what they needed. We got them caught up on their taxes and they were stunned by that it was really not the scariest thing they were ever going to do in their life.
Yep. And what a lot of people don't understand about the IRS is the new IRS is actually fairly compassionate. They will listen to you. Lack of communication gets you in trouble with the IRS as opposed to talking to them. Mm-hmm. It takes time, especially in the era of COVID, to get a tax return processed, and anything older than 2 years has to be done on paper. I have paper returns that were mailed in June that still have not been processed because the IRS is that far behind. They still get the letters, you owe all this money, which is normal, but communicating with them, they will delay it because they know your returns are basically in the mail. They're in the pot to be. Everything is fixable. You can recreate stuff. If you don't have any paperwork from your past returns, that's all obtainable through the IRS because the IRS knows what you made last year before you do.
Exactly.
It's all reported.
Now, let me ask you, does the IRS offer payment plans or repayment structuring? You come up and you say, this guy, look, now you owe $10,000 because you haven't done your taxes in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever.
Yes.
Is there any kind of lifeboat, life jacket? What can you do for those folks? What does the IRS do?
If you owe money to the IRS, they'll give you up to 5 years to pay it back. But if you're really in a hole, if you've got $90,000 in IRS debt, the first thing you have to do is file those returns, get the correct numbers in the system. Then you can do what's called an offer in compromise because the IRS looks at it. What can we reasonably collect from this person based on the conditions they're facing now? And just like in bankruptcy, but you only get one shot at it. You get one bite of that apple and they never let you do it again. But you've seen the commercials of the firms that actually do this. They fix it if you've got over $10,000 because it can be done, and it's not a difficult, but it is a slow process. It can take up to a year to get somebody fixed who hasn't filed for 3 years.
But the biggest thing is don't let your fear keep you from filing and not, working on the problem.
Hey, real quick, Cheryle, can you say that again? Because you guys froze up on me and I didn't get to hear it. So what was that you just said?
Oh, I said that the biggest thing is not to be afraid to file a return just because you are behind. You got to go forward. They're not going to come the first day and drag you off to IRS jail. But you got to find somebody that you can understand what they're saying, explain it to them, because like Bryan said, it is foreign to a lot of people. And there's a lot of things out there that you can write off you don't know, especially if you have a side business. And that's kind of where we kind of try to step in and say, look, this is what you do. These are your options. Let's do this way instead of this way, and this will save you money, and this, you can take this off. And people are just really surprised because they never thought about it. And they're like, oh, I never knew that. And I'm like, that's why we're here.
Well, and that's great. And that, to me, that means a lot because, the one thing a couple things Bryan said that really resonated with me were, number one, everything is fixable, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have been taught for so many years to fear the IRS, right? That they're just gonna, their whole, lot in life is just to take all your money and, throw you in debtor's prison, and it's gonna be horrible. And then the other thing that you said was, I can't remember now what the hell you said, but anyway, I thought it was a really good point. And if anybody else remembers it, but it's all fixable, and there are resources, and that's the thing is, I know sometimes, like being a cook, being a chef, I'll say something that to me makes perfect sense. I'll say, hey, take that stock of parsley and make a nice chiffonade of it so I can put it into a garnish. And they're like, what language are you speaking? I don't know what chiffonade is, much less parsley. And by the same token, when you tell me there's 80,000 pages of IRS code, I'm thinking, I'm done. I don't know what to do now. I'm lost.
And it terrifies people because you've always been taught to fear the IRS. And a lot of people have an extreme fear of the IRS. But it's something that everybody has to do. It has to be done. Just find that person that you trust and that can explain it to you and work with you. And that's important, to understand what they're trying to tell you.
See, my thing is, I'm just too pretty to go to jail. When you look at this, and they don't let you wear cool hats in jail. So I can't be about that lifestyle. I'm too pretty to go to jail. So I think this has been awesome. I think you've given a lot of people hope, honestly. And we've learned it's all about relationships, right? Like you were just saying. And, we all think it's tax time. You go down to H&R Block, or you go down to Walmart or whatever, and you hand them your papers, and they give you a magic number, and you all go away. Excuse me.
And if you're the cookie cutter couple that you both work for different companies,
sure,
you don't have investments, you're just getting a couple of W-2s, and you have 2 kids, it's a simple form. H&R Block is more than, because all they do is put it into the computer spits it out, and that's what you get. It's not hard. It's the variables, the write-offs, the investments, and all of those things, and all the nooks and crannies of things that really, really bite you in the butt.
Yeah. And I think that's hugely important, like for Joan and I, because, for years we've had, a couple of side gigs. Now we have the life coaching business, or, my life and health coaching business. We have the chef gig, and we both have muggle jobs. And she was for the first time last year and most of this year, she was a 1099 employee, which we've never done before. So we didn't know anything about that. For years, we were married, we had a kid, we went down and gave them the paperwork. They gave us a lot of money because we had the kid, and for whatever reason, she grew the hell up, and they don't pay us for that anymore. I don't understand that. Because she costs me more money now than she did back then. So I think that. But anyway, so I think it is so much about relationships, and the fact that I would be able to talk to guys like you who are entrepreneurs, who do have a side gig, who understand what I'm trying to do, like you said, versus a CPA who lives in an ivory tower, or a guy at a tax prep service who may not, he's waiting on the next customer. There's 10 people in the lobby. That's all he's concerned about.
Yep. And that's how it works. With a CPA, you're going to deal with somebody else in his office on the most part. Then they're not interested in what you're doing either. So it's best to have that one-on-one. things can affect everything. Your side business can have an effect on your gross income of your regular job. It can actually help you. One of the things that I find interesting is a lot of people, the entrepreneurs that I deal with, is they say the IRS says I have to make money. That's not true. You're a for-profit. That means you're trying to make money, but the IRS doesn't have a profit requirement.
Okay.
You don't have to make money every year. Amazon on paper doesn't make money. That's why they don't pay income tax. You see the headlines in the news. They actually do, but that's why they're barely a profitable company over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So
and that's all planned. That's for a reason.
Obviously. A lot of it, yes. They've got hundreds of tax lawyers that specifically do that. Entrepreneurs, the small side gig, they're not going to be able to afford that. But a lot of people won't legitimize their business because they think, well, if I'm not making money, then they're just going to come after me. They're going to say I'm just trying to take the write off, and that's not how it works. There are some, you need to make money because you're in business to make money.
Sure.
But there's no IRS requirement. The IRS defines a hobby or for profit. A hobby is something that you do not intend to make money, but you still have to, if you sell it, you still have to claim it, but you don't get the write-offs.
Gotcha.
For profit is if you make a profit 3 years out of 5, you're for profit. 2 years out of 5, you're for profit.
We just wanted to take the fear out of it and give people an option of somewhere to go with people that understand that sometimes it's all new and you have no idea what you're doing on the opposite side. You can cook, but you may not be able to do your taxes, and you have to know if you're actually making money or not. It's kind of all about a relationship with, your tax person. What about this? And don't be afraid to ask questions. It's like when you go to the doctor, don't just sit there and let him tell you, here, take this pill, you'll be okay. Ask those questions, learn it, find out. If you have a question, ask. Don't be afraid. A lot of people are scared to ask. Don't be. Ask questions. Find out what's going on in your life.
I think that's huge too, because I know as a chef, a lot of times I would get and Tina says these are really good, smart, and honest people with a heart of gold, and they honestly are. And what I like is a lot of times I would get an email. You guys know me. I'm on my iPad or my phone. It's right beside me all the time. And I would get an email at 10 o'clock at night for somebody who wanted a gig, right? They wanted me to come and cook a birthday dinner or something. And I would immediately reply and say, hey, you know what? What time would be good for me tomorrow to talk to you about this? And they're like, oh my God, I didn't expect you to reply right now. I didn't mean to bother you. And I'm like, I'm sitting on my couch drinking wine, watching TV. You're not a bother. You're a potential customer.
Exactly.
And that's the difference between someone like an H&R Block. And I don't mean to keep throwing them under the bus. H&R Block is a great.
It's easy to use them as an example because so many people have used them and they know the name.
Exactly. Versus you guys who are more accessible, and like Tina just said, you're real people, right? I know, and you charge a fee to do this. And I know that, you're not just running up a bill. You're not like a lawyer who's just logging time to run up a bill. It's actually about something,
Yeah, exactly.
I appreciate it. Guys, I hate to cut this off. It is 7:53. We've been doing this for about 53 minutes, mostly because I talk too much. What would you guys like to say at the end? I see all your information's up there, BNC Income Tax Services, your website, your emails, your phone number. What would you guys like to say in closing?
If you need help, call us. There's no charge. We'll talk to you. We'll tell you the price up front. If it's a big issue, we'll work through it together. It's not necessarily about the money. It's about getting things right with the IRS. If you just need to talk about, I'm doing my business, that's free. I'm not going to count the minutes or anything like that. I will talk to you. Let's schedule it up. I work evenings and nights. This is what I do. So
to me, that's the difference between, because I work in a corporate environment. That's the difference between the corporate environment where I come home at 6 o'clock and I'm done versus my side gig, my heart, my passion, and I say this all the time. Your job is what you're paid for.
Exactly.
Your passion is what you're made for. I'll talk with anybody anytime, day or night. I'll talk life coaching with anybody day or night because I want to help people. That's my passion.
Right.
So I appreciate you guys being with us. Tax time is nothing that anybody likes or wants to talk about, but it's important. And I think it's great to have real people in a real environment that we can go to that can help us. So guys, thank you very much.
So thank you, Curtis. We enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. Guys, I am so happy that we had Cheryle and Bryan on with us tonight. I learned a lot, honestly. We talk a lot, because like I said, we're family. We talk a lot around the table and, sit on the couch. But I learned a lot tonight myself. I do want to reiterate again that I am running this new special for the end of the year so that we can set our course for 2021, 3 sessions for $399 when you pay in full. Should you decide that you love the 3 sessions and you want to go ahead with the whole 12 weeks, we'll talk about a price and we'll take the money that you've already paid off. But those 3 sessions, guys, can change your life. Those 3 sessions can get you on a course to make your life be what you've always thought it could be. Trust me, it's deep. We're going to talk about some things. We're going to get into some stuff. We're going to have some real conversations. And at the end, you're going to look and go, wow, this is what I signed up for. This is what I thought it was going to be about. This is what I always thought being a life coach was about. Or I had no idea what a life coach could do for me. But now I'm so excited because I found out. Thank you all so much for joining us. You can find us at playbigcoach.com. You can find us on Facebook, on the web, on Instagram. I'm on the web. Wow, that sounded really old. On Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. We're going to be on the podcast site soon. But if you're wondering what this is all about, it's about helping people. I want to help you be the best you can be. I want to help you play big, whether that's in your relationship, whether that's with your kids, whether that's in your job, whatever it might be. I won't see you next week, so I want everybody to have the merriest of Christmas, the happiest of holidays. Whatever you celebrate it to the max. Be with your family, be with your friends, be with your loved ones as best you can in these crazy COVID times. And let's all just remember, we're just walking each other home. All right? Thank you all so much. Have a great week. Thank you for joining us on the Play Bigger podcast. Coach Curtis is dedicated to helping you grow, thrive, and excel. Playing bigger is more than a tagline, it's a lifestyle. So be sure to tune in every other week for more from the Play Bigger Coach. And check us out online at www.playbigcoach.com. There you can schedule your free 1-hour Play Big strategy session. We look forward to seeing you soon.